preseason All-ACC. The talent is certainly there, but he looks to sort of right the ship for this Duke team that has lost 2 in a row.
It's the ACC and the Patriot League, blue blood versus red hot, and we're about to get after it here.
Couple warm days, but it is cold and cloudy. Going to be some rain rolling through in the next several days as well.
Nothing new for these teams. Last time they met was last season in Durham, North Carolina. Coach John Danowski for Duke said he's never seen any muck like it as they score first. It's Max Sloat who draws the first blood. Barnes was coming out to help with the ride. You will see that tactic quite often from BU. Cabrin Clark, the junior, gets his first career start. As BU moving it around, here's Tyler Fox, the sophomore. Pape now down low to O'Connell, and it's robbed by Patrick Jamison. Molliver looking for help. Good passing for Duke, but they can't find anyone in the middle now. Winding up and scoring, Ben Johnston. Scores on his second shot of the day. Another man-up goal for Ben Johnston. 4th of the season with the extra man. Because with a team like Duke, they'll just make you pay for falling behind, making those silly mistakes. Here's Andrew Pape, who sails it just a bit high. Defender draped all over him was Nicholas Menendez.
I like the shot, though. Try to get more shots on goal here. I think they've been looking for that perfect pass and perfect shot up to that point, and Pape just fires one high.
Shanahan, the shot ricochets off the post, trickles all the way down to the Duke sideline. It'll go back to the Blue Devils to avoid getting down 4-0 like they did against the Crimson last week. Here's O'Connell. He goes back and forth with the freshman Ben Morris. The cutter and Kelly, and he's gobbled up Charlie Johnson, the junior defender, who's been a major contributor for Duke this year with 17 caused turnovers. The first 10 minutes or so, I'd say. Here's Andrew Pape. To his right. Pape fires one, and it's saved by Jamison.
This feels like not quite a must-score opportunity, but this is a big one for BU to stay within striking distance and not let the deficit slip any further.
See what Ryan Poley draws up. BU just as good for the man up, and there's Andrew Pape, who gets his 11th of the season and the first of the day for the Terriers as they convert on the EMO.
Well, we've called his name a few times. Pape, on his 3rd shot, is able to beat Jamison for BU's first tally of this one.
Massive win for BU. With 10 seconds left, they'll try to even the score. Shanahan. Core almost lost it. Now back to Shanahan. The dodge, the score! Timothy Shanahan is 23rd on the season, and the freshman equalizes the game at 2 with just 1 second to go here in the first.
And BU is going to go into the huddle heading into the second quarter and feel really good. Duke controlled much of this opening frame, but BU gets a couple goals in the last couple minutes. Great job by Core to keep that play alive. He didn't handle the pass cleanly. Thought when it touched the turf that the seconds would just tick off.
Kershus. There's Papendick, and now at X back is Molliver. Shot from McAdory. It's saved by Barnes.
Goals against average for Barnes in his senior year. And head coach Ryan Poley just told us that his consistency has gotten better and better. It's at an excellent level this year. He's saving about 56 to 60% of his shots faced in every game this year.
Bounce shot is saved by Patrick Jamison, another guy that's been good for Duke by all marks. Duke 2-1 in true road games this year. They've only ever had one undefeated season on the road under Danowski. They played a road game against Notre Dame last week in South Bend, and then the week before at a neutral site game against Denver and Dallas, Texas, and there's a goal for Jack Papendick, the Boston native. That's Duke back on the board, 3-2. Correction, that's Eric Molliver with the assist from Papendick. And Molliver, the team's leader in scoring this year, gets on the board.
Papendick does a good job sliding down that alley on the left side, and then Molliver just finds the space, finds his first of this afternoon.
Molliver inching closer to his career high in goals. He had 26 goals in 2022 when Maryland won the national title. Of course, no shortage of offensive talent on that team. As in transition, a goal for Duke. It was Luke Engelke. There's a flag on the play. They'll probably wave it off. They gave Duke the advantage. And Luke Engelke, the Fogo, gets his first of the season.
So that's 2 of Duke's 4 goals where they have gotten behind BU's pressure and had a relatively easy shot and goal. This is well placed, too. It's a bounce shot that ticks up high and then off of the crossbar and in. You see, everyone is running, including Engelke when he fires that one.
So the referees take that flag off as they gave Duke the advantage. Luke Engelke is the primary Fogo after being a third string last year. Duke's got a lot of face-off depth. They've got Ben McCarthy, he was 51 for 101, and then Cal Gerard, 24 for 48, who backed up Duke's career Fogo, Jake Nasso. He's now third in face-off volume, but both these teams have options here is the bottom line. We should see a variety of folks for BU. We saw Madden Murphy earlier and Matthew Fritz. Expect more of that today. Duke back at it. It's Graham Blake, grad student from Harvard. He was the second leading scorer there last year, and Duke is all of a sudden on a 3-0 run.
And they're moving a lot quicker, Jake, on the offensive end. I think in the first quarter they were a little bit more deliberate, taking longer possessions and trying to lower the possession count and not give BU too many chances on the other end. Here in the second, they are getting it and they're going. It was Blake basically one-on-one on this left side. Didn't have a great angle, but decides a bounce shot and beats Barnes between the legs.
5'10", 180 against Graham Blake. It's not the biggest guy himself, but Duke pushing the tempo again. They try for another Fogo goal with Ben McCarthy, but it rings off the stick of Barnes. Kicks it back out. He found Liam McLean, the senior. McLean to the right side, finding Molliver behind the back! Eric Molliver, are you kidding me? Duke's on a 4-0 run, and Eric Molliver with a tremendous goal.
Yeah, he's fired up. Meet some of the teammates on the bench, and BU's going to take a timeout here. Look at this. Beautiful position, and Molliver is in exactly the spot you want to be for a BTB. Right in front of goal, he beats Barnes.
Of course, they expend all their energy for BU on the clear and ride. But an area that they both excel is the Q2, Q3 scoring. We'll have to see how BU can respond here. As that's a good start. They'll force a turnover. Trey Brown picks up the ground ball. BU, the tough task of replacing career Terriers Louis Perfetto and Vince D'Alto, made up a large chunk of their scoring over the last couple of years. Again, they've had a lot of help, and Jimmy Cord, Jimmy O'Connell, as Duke comes away with it. Here's Aiden McGuire pushing the tempo. McGuire scores! Aiden McGuire, the kid they call Magoo on the Duke sideline, his third goal of the year. And Duke up 7-2.
You knew as soon as he got this ground ball, Jake, that he wanted to shoot and score. Ton of speed for McGuire. Went to high school about 30 minutes outside of the city at St. Sebastian's School, which has produced a handful of Blue Devils. And look at this. He shoots, takes the hit, and the slide to boot.
It is a big crowd here at BU today. There's a lot of Duke Blue in this crowd as well. Pretty solid showing from the folks in Durham, North Carolina. A pass broken up here. A great play by Jake Wilson to cause some havoc. Ball still loose. And Wilson will come up with the ground ball. They'll whistle it dead.
All respect to the games in the Patriot League. This is the one you had circled on BU's schedule here in 2025, a home game against three-time national champs Duke after a one-goal battle between these two last year. Great matchup.
Across the field and a big save for Barnes. It was one-on-one with Graham Blake, and he comes up big. Andrew McAdory. Now Johnston. Johnston will fire, and looks like a defender broke it up. Barnes trying to come out for it. He's in a vulnerable spot, and it's finally picked up. Again, for the folks that are saying, well, what's Duke doing up here in the thick of the ACC schedule? It just started. There are only 5 programs in the ACC, so Duke gets their 4 games every year, and then tournament time in early May. So a great opportunity here for both teams to kind of right the ship again. BU trying to push. The pull scores! It's Donald Varnerin that gets on the board. He was a Patriot League Defensive Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago, and he gets his 2nd goal of the year. Donnie, as they call him, breaks this skid for BU at 7-3.
That stops the bleeding and gives BU a little bit of life here in these last 12 seconds. It's a beautiful play. Varnerin just slips to the soft spot in the Duke defense and has that sort of low underhand shot.
Said they always thought he was really great off the ground. He's always killing possessions, but every now and then he can rip off something like that. 5 seconds to go. McGuire swarmed, but he breaks free. McGuire towards the cage, trying to find Curtius. Flag is down, but the horn sounds, and that'll be all here on the 2nd quarter at 7-3 Duke. And that's a guy that you need to fire up if you're the Terriers here. You need to get him involved in some more offensive looks. Matt Ferraro down there low, and a score for Jimmy O'Connell. An unassisted goal for the senior, who's stepped up big time this year and played a role that pretty much everyone on the BU sideline needed him to play this year. 7-4 your score.
Well, the first shot from Core was a little bit soft on the near side. A pretty easy save for Jamison. Watch this. It's not a ton of velocity on it. Jamison's there, but the rebound is controlled well by O'Connell, who
20 seconds on the shot clock here. Ben Johnson has got a lot of touches this game in the midfield as well. He's been a very important part of this Duke offense. And scoring down low is Max Sloat. Had a season-high 5 goals against Providence a couple of weeks ago and puts Duke up 8-4.
It's a really good play by Sloat. He faked a shot that brought BU's defender out and then slipped underneath. Watch Sloat here. Looks like he's going to shoot. He brings Kem out, slips down, switches to the right hand, and scores.
There's a quote from John Danowski when, right after the floodgates opened after COVID and the seasons are ramping up in 2021, he's chatting with the group, and he said, well, you know, nobody liked Michael Jordan, to paraphrase him. It's a shot from Brennan Kelly goes high, flag on the play. And BU has the personnel behind the net. He keeps possession.
About 30 seconds left on the man up.
Kelly out wide for Garofalo. It's saved by Jamison. A big save for the Duke netminder. Duke trying to run away with it here. Only 5 seconds left as the bounce shot from Johnston from way out's no good.
5 seconds left on the man up, 35 on the shot clock.
Scoring from outside is Sloat, and there's a hat trick for the junior to make it 9-4. Duke now 40% on the extra man opportunity. They're 2 for 5 on the day. As Max Sloat will take care of business. We'll take a quick break. 9-4 your score in favor of the Duke Blue Devils off this sweet look from Max Sloat. The bounce shot gets right past Barnes.
So that you're rounding into form and hopefully in the fold for the NCAAs.
Yeah, you can find yourself on the outside looking in, and that's what Coach Janowski said. That would not be fun to be the odd man out.
Well, take a look at 2022. Duke was...
And a score for Liam McLean. Somehow snuck in the goal. We'll have to see another look at that one. It's 10-4.
You're right, Jake. Snuck in. He's on the near post, and it was a quick catch and shoot, it looked like. Duke's the first team to double-digit goals. And here in the third quarter, outscoring BU 3-1. McLean's just waiting for it. He's asking for it, shaking the stick, and then finally McAdory able to dish it off. 5th and 6th.
BU, of course, trying to avenge Lehigh from last year. BU finished 4th in the Patriot League table and then finished as the runner-up. They got their first ever Patriot League championship back in 2022. You can forget the dawn of the rivalry against Army, if you will, as a great takeaway for BU as they absolutely swarmed McGuire. As they'll slow things down. Gotta wonder if the priority here is setting up some quality shots as Charlie Johnson dislodges it from Timothy Shanahan, and Duke comes up with a turnover. What a play.
One more quick. Number 6 Army up 3-0. Just 3 minutes in against Colgate.
O'Connell at X. Trying to fight through 2 defenders, and Jamison all over it. Patrick Jamison now 8 saves as 4 goals allowed. It's been pretty lights out so far for Duke today. Jamison's had some really good games. He had 14 saves on 46 shot face against Richmond a couple weeks ago, as here's Blake at point blank. And Barnes gets a stick on it, enough to get it back into the possession of Connor Kim. The signature Duke blue jerseys, the royal blue, if you will, is now turned into more of a navy blue with the soaking of the rain. Just goes to show how wet it really is out there. You also see the miss radiate off Jamison's stick as a big hit from Connor Kim along the sideline. It'll force BU with possession. O'Connell shaking one defender, and Jimmy Core scores the goal. Oh, it's a slick feed from Jimmy O'Connell. BU's back on the board. It's 10-5.
When O'Connell first got this ball, I thought he was in a great position to turn and let it rip, but he makes the extra pass, and Core has an even better look. Core's been relatively quiet today. That's his first goal on his 3rd shot. Take a look here. O'Connell has it. No one's there as Engelke is, check that, it was Bard who was sliding back.
Here's Blake. In the leading scorer from the school across the street at Harvard University last year. And here's Jack Pappendick. The solid goal right down the slot here. He gets his first of the game. He had a hat trick earlier in the year against Jacksonville. Hasn't done a great deal else, but has got a lot of time out there as well. And Pappendick puts it home for Duke, 11-5.
Sort of one of those running, jumping shots from Pappendick as he turns on that left pivot foot, and really nobody on him pressuring the shot.
Molliver against Kem. Molliver has been an A-plus facilitator today for Mix. And Barnes robs McLean. Here's Ethan Hart. Morris, the dodge. From the point, it was Jimmy Core. Jamison comes up with a big save to keep it right where it is. Ball slips off the stick of Connor Nolan, and it'll go back to BU. They've got bodies. BU capitalizes, and Timothy Shanahan gets his second of the day. 11-6 your score. Down but not out for the Terriers.
Well, Duke has played a really complete game with the exception of clearing. They're just 15 for 23, and a failed clear there leads to a wide-open shot for Shanahan on the right side. He scores, and it's 11-6 Duke with 4:13 to go. Nice passing, and Shanahan has his second of the day.
And because of just the consistent voices in that room, they've been able to build a true dynasty in the NCAA scene. BU trying to make something happen. Here's Finn Lawrence, who's saved by Jamison. Ethan Hart with 90 seconds to go. Shanahan with the dodge. O'Connell, crease dive. He scores! There's a crease dive goal for the senior attackman Jimmy O'Connell. His second of the game. He's got 5 points with his 3 assists. 11-7.
And this is just effort from O'Connell. Doesn't matter the time or score. He is going full Superman extension there and just tossing a backhand as he wraps around this near post. Look at the feed from Shanahan. And then O'Connell knows he doesn't have much time. He takes a hit on that right shoulder and somehow sneaks it in. Stretch their lead to as much as 7-2 before BU got one back before halftime.
Ben McCarthy led the way 9-12, and Luke Engelke was 5'9", and on the move. That should do it for Duke. As Aiden McGuire gets his second of the day, 12-7 your score here in Boston. You can tell on the Duke sidelines, they're ready to get back to Durham with another win in their pocket.
And McGuire doubles his goal total here today. Came into the game with 2 on the season, and the short stick D. Mitty has scored 2 on the breakaway.
And who's been the more impactful player to watch today between him and Jimmy Core? Duke, a nice complete game. You would think they like to clear the ball a little bit better, but a nice foundation, and the streak snapped for the Duke Blue Devils. They're back in the win column, 9-3 on the year so far.